This is Luke Paulson, the Catholic Conservative, and welcome to the News of the Week for February 12th, 2022. And if you enjoy these videos, do not forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more. Jeff Zucker has been the face of the fake news network for many years, and he was told to hand in his resignation.
So long. See you, sucker. Bon voyage. Arrivederci. Later, loser. Goodbye. Good riddance. Peace out. Let the doorknob hit you where the good Lord split you. Don't come back round here no more. Hasta la vista. Kick rocks and get the hell out.
He manipulated the narrative about the China virus as exposed by Project Veritas. His network kept going with the nothing burger that was the impeachment scam. And on and on. CNN will continue to produce fake news no matter what. But maybe the new president of CNN will stay away from children. Joe Rogan, even though Spotify allowed him to keep his podcast there, and most artists did not pull their music over such a ridiculous matter, decided that the best thing to do would be to apologize to the snowflakes. I have no doubt that he was voluntold to apologize, but I could not prove that. Apologizing to snowflakes is like giving sharks blood, or throwing off your armor during wartime. As soon as snowflakes see a weakness, they do not stop until the target is destroyed. A 6th grader in California's Bay Area was convinced by 2 teachers that she was a boy. At least that is what the mother is claiming in the lawsuit. The child was then encouraged to hide this from her parents. Is it any wonder trust in public schools is fading? Imagine if any other physical or psychological issue were hidden from a child's parents. The teachers would be fired and blacklisted for the rest of their lives. The worst mistake that we made in the 20th century was trusting public schools. Parents, not the government, are the keepers of their children. In order to maintain control, the elites need both bread and circuses to pacify the populace. However, the Winter Olympics and Super Bowl are not exactly cutting it this year. Some countries, companies, and fans are boycotting the Olympics over the concentration camps. NBC has no qualms about human rights violations. Moving on to the Stupid Bowl. California is on lockdown over the China virus. Yet, it is perfectly capable of hosting the Stupid Bowl. If the circuses do not pacify the people, all that is left is bread, and we are running out of that too. Brandon is presently dealing with articles of impeachment because his administration is shipping illegals all over the country to try and shift the demographics. Now we have learned that they are also busing illegals.
So these white vans, they just come down every so often and pick people up?
Yeah, we don't really have enough people to even pick up the ones that are coming across. So
Yeah.
Sometimes they're waiting out there a long time and they get tired of waiting and start coming into town.
Because I was just sitting here and they came up to me asking me for help. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? And they're like, do people call in all the time with groups coming up to people and asking for help and stuff? Like,
yeah, they'll call Ubers, they'll drop them off at the station.
Interfering in the election was hard, and the Democrats could not risk getting caught again. However, if the red states suddenly start getting a bunch of illegals that get free citizenship and a whole bunch of other perks, the balance of power will shift. Now, I am sure that Brandon did not know about any of this, but his handlers that made the decision definitely did. And since the fake news insists that he is the real president, he would take the blame. The U.S. Post Office is one of the few federal agencies that is authorized under the United States Constitution. However, when the agency in charge of collecting and distributing mail-in ballots has endorsed a candidate, their corruption is just getting started. Aside from collecting late signups and mail-in ballots to addresses that do not exist, all of their money comes from the purchase of stamps and other like services. However, they are looking to get a bailout from the government. Private companies can do the job just as well, and so if the post office falls apart,
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
then those same people can work for one of these private companies, unless of course they are only cut out for government work. Nonviolent protest has been a staple of resistance to tyranny for centuries. Without firing a single shot, people can stand in opposition. Take the truckers in Canada, for example. They want to go back to work, but have finally had enough with arduous mandates that do not affect another living soul. There comes a time when enough is enough. Trudeau struck first. Because Democrat cities are surging with crime and DAs funded by George Soros are getting them off without a problem, police are being assaulted and killed in record numbers. Brandon decided to go to New York to address this outbreak in violence, but took time out of his busy schedule to declare handguns a weapon of war.
You know, the future's cut short by a man with a stolen Glock with 40 rounds, a magazine with 40 rounds. It's really a weapon of war.
He then claimed that in the 18th century, you had to use a musket and could not just buy a cannon. This is patently false and has no historical backing whatsoever. At the same time, the fake news is claiming that the mostly peaceful protest of January 6th was a violent incursion again, despite the fact that not only were no federal agents killed, they let the protesters in. Professor Stephen Kirshner of the State University of New York decided that he thought it was moral for adults to have sexual relations with minors, as long as the minor is consenting.
Imagine that an adult male wants to have sex with a 12-year-old girl. Imagine that she's a willing participant. A very standard, very widely held view that there's something deeply wrong about this, and it's wrong independent of it being criminalized. It's not obvious to me that is in fact wrong. I think this is a mistake, and I think that exploring why it's a mistake will tell us not only things about adult-child sex and statutory rape, but also about fundamental principles of morality.
Now, any normal person would say that this is wrong and grossly immoral, and yet this is not the exception to the rule, but the rule itself. Long ago, conservatives abandoned the culture war and put their focus on Americans having a job and food on the table. As such, abortion and euthanasia expanded, homosexual unions became more prominent, and we have another professor endorsing pedophilia. Small battles like with Netflix or M&Ms seem petty, but each one is testing the waters to see how far they can go before we push back. We are seeing the same thing with the virus, and in my opinion, are failing miserably. Maybe I'm just blowing smoke, maybe I'm completely off my rocker, but that is just my opinion. And if you enjoyed this content, do not forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more. And also don't forget to follow me on social media.